Welcome to Surrealism. Close your eyes and remember the last time you walked away from a normal conversation feeling shattered. Your pulse is racing, your palms are damp, but there was no shouting, there were no insults you could easily point to. Yet you feel like a ghost. You feel as though someone reached into your chest and slowly drained your life force while you were busy trying to be polite. The phrases loop in your mind like a broken record. Can't you take a joke? I think you're overreacting. I am only telling you this because I care about your future. On the surface, it looks like affection. It looks like guidance. But in your gut, it feels like acid. Welcome to the hidden front lines of human interaction. At Surrealism, we pull back the curtain on the social illusions that keep you trapped. We have all encountered these architects of psychological ruin. The manager who praises you in public while cutting your legs out in private. The partner who rewrites history until you doubt your own sanity. The parent who uses your own love for them as a leash. They are playing a game you didn't even know existed. You are operating by the laws of empathy and human connection. They are operating by the laws of conquest and psychological warfare. You are bringing a peace treaty to a battlefield, and as long as you prioritize being nice over being effective, you will remain their favorite source of energy. You will be the battery they drain to keep their own fragile ego alive. But what happens when you stop providing the fuel? What happens when you trade your desire for approval for a mastery of strategy? What if you could look into the eyes of a manipulator and see them blink first? What if you could neutralize a threat without ever raising your voice? This is not a guide on how to become a villain. It is a manual on how to stop being a victim. To understand how to protect yourself, we must look at a man who saw through the veil 5 centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli. He didn't write about a world of fairy tales or how things should be. He documented the cold, hard machinery of the human heart as it actually functions. He understood that when it comes to power, the one who dictates the narrative dictates reality itself. He famously noted that if you cannot be both, it is safer to be feared than to be loved. Today, we are taking those ancient, ruthless principles and injecting them into the modern world. We are going to dissect the manipulator's playbook, line by line. In clinical psychology, your biggest weakness is a concept called projection. You assume that because you have a heart, they must have one too. You believe that if you just explain your pain clearly enough, they will finally understand and stop. They won't. You are projecting your internal software onto a hardware that is fundamentally different. Machiavelli was blunt about this truth. He stated that men are generally ungrateful, deceptive, and eager for gain at the expense of others. If you are dealing with a toxic individual, this isn't a mean opinion. It is an accurate diagnostic tool. A toxic predator doesn't see a conversation as a way to share ideas. They see it as an extraction process. They are mining for your insecurities. They are looking for the buttons they can push to make you dance. In psychology, this is known as intermittent reinforcement and narcissistic supply. Your tears are their trophies. Your frantic explanations are their proof of power. Nothing makes a manipulator feel more alive than knowing they can control your nervous system with a casual remark. Machiavelli knew that human beings are moved by 2 primary levers, fear and self-interest. The toxic person is hollow inside, terrified of being seen as small. They fill that emptiness by making you feel even smaller. The first step toward your freedom is the death of hope. You must stop hoping they will change. You must stop trying to fix a person who views your compassion as a weakness to be exploited. Machiavelli's warning is timeless. He who abandons what is done for what ought to be done will achieve his ruin rather than his preservation. If you keep treating a wolf like a wounded lamb, you will be eaten. The transformation starts in this moment. You must retire the people pleaser that lives inside you. That part of you that is addicted to external validation. That part of you that is terrified of being the bad guy. That version of you is the very handle they use to twist your reality. You are going to replace that need for being liked with a hunger for being respected. In the game of power, being right is irrelevant. What matters is being in control of your own emotional state. The second you lose your cool, you have handed them the remote control to your life. The second you beg for their understanding, you have acknowledged them as your master. We are going to shift into what Machiavelli called realpolitik, This is the art of dealing with things as they are, not as you wish they were. It means accepting that some people are simply predators. They aren't misunderstood. They aren't traumatized souls who just need more of your kindness. They are individuals who enjoy the high of dominance. If you bring logic to a fight with a gaslighter, you have already lost. They don't want the truth. They want to make you feel crazy, so you're easier to manage. They use word salad to make you dizzy and love bombing to make you blind. Machiavelli said, "A prince must be a lion to scare away the wolves and a fox too." Detect the traps. Until now you have been a sheep, wondering why the grass tastes like blood. That ends here. I am going to arm you with 7 psychological instruments of defense. These are not toys. They are heavy, they are sharp, and they require a cold heart to wield. Most people are too terrified of their own shadows to use them. They would rather stay on the moral high ground and drown than swim in the dark to reach the shore. But you have bled enough. You have been the bigger person for long enough. By the time we are done, you won't just survive these people. You will become a riddle they cannot solve. You will become what Machiavelli called the prince, sovereign, strategic, untouchable. We will break down the mechanics of the amygdala hijack so you can stay calm while they scream. We will master strategic silence to drive them into a panic, and we will learn the documentation bomb to end their games forever. But listen closely. Once you see the strings on the puppets, you can never go back to the theater. Once you realize that most people are just playing roles, you will feel a profound sense of isolation. The air is thinner at the top of the mountain, but the silence is beautiful, and the victory is absolute. Let us begin with the first law of the sovereign mind, the acceptance of the existence of the enemy. Stop asking why, and start asking how. How do I neutralize this? How do I protect my peace? You are no longer just a person, you are a fortress. Your energy is your gold. Stop letting thieves walk through your front door just because they smiled. Machiavelli taught that boundaries aren't boundaries unless they are enforced with consequences. If there is no price for crossing you, you are not setting a boundary. You are merely making a request. Prepare your mind. The architecture of your new life is Bane. G drawn right now. In the next section, we will reveal the first weapon, the black hole. We will learn the science of why saying nothing is the loudest scream you can give. This is Surrealism, where the shadows finally meet the light. In our last session, we identified the predator. Now we arm the fortress. The first weapon in your arsenal is the most counterintuitive, yet the most devastating. We call it the black hole. Machiavelli wrote that a prince should be a master of camouflage. He said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, but few experience what you really are." Most people think that standing up for yourself means talking back. They think it means proving the other person wrong. They think it means having the last word. But in the world of high-stakes psychology, talking is often a sign of weakness. When you speak, you reveal your thoughts. When you argue, you reveal your triggers. When you defend yourself, you reveal what you are afraid of losing. The manipulator is a data miner. They poke you just to see where you leak. They make a subtle comment about your weight, your job, or your intelligence. They aren't looking for the truth. They are looking for a pulse. They want to see your eyes widen. They want to see your breath hitch. They want to hear that frantic tone in your voice as you try to set the record straight. In psychology, this is known as the amygdala hijack. The manipulator intentionally triggers your brain's fear center to bypass your logic. Once you are emotional, you are controllable. The black hole strategy stops this process dead in its tracks. It is based on a concept Machiavelli understood deeply, the power of the void. If a person throws a punch and hits a wall, they might hurt their hand. But if they throw a punch and hit nothing but empty space, they lose their balance. They fall on their face. To apply this, you must become emotionally unmappable. When they provoke you, you do not flinch. You do not explain. You do not even disagree. You simply offer nothing. Imagine a XIO worker says, "It must be nice to have so much free time while the rest of us are drowning in work." The old you would say, "I've been working since 6 a.m. What are you talking about?" The Machiavellian you does something different. You look at them. You let the silence stretch for 3 full seconds. In human communication, 3 seconds of silence feels like an eternity. It creates a vacuum that the other person feels a desperate need to fill. Then you blink once. You say, "That is an interesting perspective," and then you return to your task. Do not look back. Do not check to see their reaction. What just happened in their brain? You denied them the dopamine hit of a conflict. You signaled to their subconscious that their opinion carries zero weight in your world. Machiavelli taught that it is an error to annoy an enemy you do not intend to destroy. Petty arguments are annoyances, but strategic silence is a neutralization. By refusing to engage, you are effectively telling the predator that they do not exist. In clinical terms, this is an advanced form of the gray rock method. But while gray rock is about being boring, the black hole is about being formidable. It is aggressive neutrality. You are creating a mirror that reflects their own toxicity back at them. When a narcissist or a bully encounters a void, they begin to panic. Their ego requires your reaction to stay inflated. Without it, they experience what psychologists call narcissistic injury. They will likely escalate. This is a critical moment. They will get louder, they will get meaner, they will try to find a deeper, more painful button to push. This is the extinction burst. Lick. A broken vending machine that you kick one last time hoping the soda falls out. If you break now, you have lost forever. But if you stay in the void, you win. You are training them. You are conditioning them like Pavlov's dog. You are teaching their nervous system that attacking you yields a reward of zero. And predators are, by nature, efficient. They do not hunt stone statues. They hunt things that run. If you stop running, they lose interest. Machiavelli understood that the one who controls the pace of the interaction controls the outcome. By staying silent, you are the one setting the pace. You are the one holding the power. This requires you to execute what we call ego dissolution. Your ego wants to defend your honor. Your ego wants to prove you are smart. You must kill that desire. You must care more about your peace than your pride. Machiavelli wrote, "Prudence consists in knowing how to distinguish the character of troubles and for choice to take the lesser evil. The lesser evil is letting them think they won the moment. The greater evil is losing your sanity trying to convince a liar of the truth. Let them have the moment. You keep the kingdom." This silence is not a sign of submission. It is a sign of sovereignty. It is the calm before the storm. It is the wall that disappears when the enemy leans against it. In the next section, we will discuss how to manage the information war. We will learn how to turn your personal life into a closed book. We will explore the Machiavellian art of strategic ambiguity. But for now, practice the void. The next time someone tries to bait you, give them the gift of your silence. Watch them struggle in the vacuum you've created. And realize that for the first time, you are the one holding the leash. This is surrealism. The game is changing. Information is the lifeblood of power. Worry. In a healthy relationship, intimacy is a bridge. In a toxic relationship, intimacy is a weaponized map. Every secret you have ever shared, every fear you have ever confessed, every complaint you have made about your boss, your spouse, or your insecurities, to a manipulator, this is not getting to know you. It is gathering intelligence. Machiavelli advised a prince to keep his own counsel above all else. He wrote, "A wise prince should never let his thoughts be known, for it allows his enemies to prepare their defenses." Most people in the modern world are addicted to transparency. We are trained by social media to broadcast our every move. We post our victories to feel validated. We post our struggles to feel seen. But to a predator, your authenticity is simply a list of your vulnerabilities. If you announce that you are feeling lonely, the love bomber knows exactly when to strike. If you tell a toxic friend that you are struggling with money, they know exactly how to buy your compliance. You must become a fog. In psychology, this is known as information management, but we are taking it to the Machiavellian level. You must learn the art of being strategically boring. When they ask you how you are, do not give them the real answer. Give them the standard, scripted answer. "I am good, just busy with projects. Everything is moving along as expected." Be polite, be pleasant, but be empty. This drives the control freak into a state of psychological agitation. A manipulator cannot control what they do not understand. They cannot sabotage a plan they do not know exists. If you are planning to leave a toxic environment, tell no one. If you are starting a new business venture, tell no one. You have found a new source of happiness, guard it like a state secret. Machiavelli noted, "He who desires to deceive will always find." Someone who will allow himself to be deceived. Toxic people are professional data miners. They will mine your past to ruin your future. They will wait 6 months to throw a confession back in your face. "I thought you said you hated that person," they will say in front of a group, just to make you look like a hypocrite. If you give them nothing, they have nothing to twist. This is difficult because it feels like you are being secretive. You are, but in the animal kingdom, camouflage is not an act of deception, it is an act of survival. You are blending into the background so the predator's eyes pass right over you. This is the grey man theory applied to your soul. If you are unremarkable, they get no drama. If you are vague, they get no leverage. If you are unpredictable because they don't know your schedule, they cannot trap you. Imagine you are playing a game of poker. You do not show your cards to the person who has been caught cheating at every table. You hold your hand against your chest. The manipulator will try to pry you open with false intimacy. They will tell you a secret about themselves just to trick you into sharing one of yours. Recognize this for what it is, a tactical trade. They will say, "You've been so quiet lately, I feel like we're drifting apart." This is bait. They want you to feel guilty so you will spill your guts to fix the relationship. Do not bite. Your response should be a pivot. "I've just been very focused on my goals lately. But tell me, how is that situation with your car going?" Deflect the light back onto them. Toxic people love the sound of their own voice. Let them talk. While they talk, you are gathering intel. While they talk, you are safe. They are revealing their hand, card by card. You are keeping yours hidden in the fog. This creates an asymmetry of power. Knowledge is a one-way street in your kingdom now. You know their patterns, their triggers, and their lies. They know only the mask you choose to wear. Machiavelli understood that the prince who is most successful is the one who appears to be many things while being none of them. By becoming a fog, you are reclaiming the right to your own private reality. You are no longer a target, you are a mystery. And a mystery is impossible to conquer in the physical world. If someone pushes you, your instinct is to push back. In the psychological world, if someone attacks your character, your instinct is to defend it. But Machiavelli understood a deeper truth about conflict. He knew that direct resistance often strengthens the enemy's resolve. He wrote, "Force is not always the best way to gain what you want. Sometimes the fox is more successful than the lion." We are now going to master a technique called verbal judo. In the martial art of judo, you do not use your own strength to defeat an opponent. You use their momentum. If they lunge toward you, you don't block them, you pull them. You help them travel in the direction they were already going until they fly off their feet. In psychology, we call this fogging or tactical agreement. The manipulator thrives on friction. They need you to disagree so they can call you difficult. They need you to get angry so they can call you crazy. They are setting a trap, and your defensive reaction is the bait. Stop giving it to them. When a toxic person hurls an insult or a false accusation, instead of fighting it, you are going to agree with the possibility of it. Imagine a toxic parent says, "You are so selfish, you never think about anyone but yourself." The old you would say, "That is not true. I helped you move last weekend, and I called you every day." Result? A 2-hour argument where they bring up every mistake you made. In 1995, they win. The Machiavellian response is different. You look them in the eye and say, "You might be right, I probably could be more thoughtful." Then you stop talking, watch their face. They were geared up for a fight. They had their ammunition ready, and you just took away the target. By agreeing, you have neutralized the aggression. You aren't actually admitting that you are selfish. You are acknowledging their perspective without letting it touch your soul. This is what Machiavelli meant by appearing to be what the people need you to be while remaining true to your own objectives. You appear to be submissive, but in reality, you are ending the interaction on your terms. You are preserving your vital energy. Every time you argue with a toxic person, you are leaking life force. You are spiking your cortisol. You are aging your body. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to prove you are right to a person whose entire identity depends on you being wrong? No. Give them the win so you can keep your peace. Let's look at another scenario, gaslighting. A manipulator says, "I never said that. You're imagining things. You're acting crazy right now." Resistance response, "I am not crazy. I have the text messages right here." Result, see, you're yelling, you're obsessed, you really do need help. The trap has sprung. The judo response, I can see why you might perceive it that way. Or simply, that's an interesting way to remember it. You are validating their perception without validating the facts. You are essentially saying, I see the illusion you are trying to build, and I'm choosing not to walk into it. This is maddening for a manipulator. They cannot fight agreement. It makes you slippery. It makes you impossible to pin down. Machiavelli advised that a prince should avoid being hated, but if he must be, he should ensure that the hatred is useless. By using verbal judo, you make their malice useless. It bounces off your neutrality and hits the floor. This requires a massive reduction in your own ego. Your ego wants justice. Your ego wants to scream, that's a lie. But justice is a luxury you cannot afford when you are fighting for your sanity. You must prioritize your peace over your pride. Machiavelli wrote, "Prudence consists in knowing how to distinguish the character of troubles, and for choice to take the lesser evil. The lesser evil is letting them believe they won a petty argument. The greater evil is losing your soul trying to convince a professional liar to tell the truth." This technique is especially powerful in professional settings. When a toxic boss says, "This report is disappointing. I expected more from you." Don't explain why you were overworked. Say, "I appreciate the feedback. I'll take that into account for the next one." Then walk away. You haven't groveled. You haven't fought. You have simply closed the door. In their mind, they have asserted dominance. In your mind, you have saved 30 minutes of emotional exhaustion. You are playing a longer game than they can even imagine. You are conditioning them. You are teaching them that their insults do not produce the emotional high they crave. Eventually, they will move on to an easier target. Predators are inherently lazy. They want prey that bleeds. If you are made of stone, they will find something softer to bite. This is the art of the sovereign. You do not fight for the sake of fighting. You fight only when it serves your ultimate objective. And usually, your ultimate objective is to be left alone in your own excellence. By mastering the judo of the mind, you become untouchable. You are the wall that disappears. You are the shadow that cannot be caught. And every time they try to hurt you, they find they are only fighting themselves. We have discussed how to act when you are in the room. Now we must discuss the most lethal weapon in your arsenal, your absence. Machiavelli observed a fundamental law of human nature. He wrote, "Men are so simple and so much subject to their present needs that he who deceives will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived." But he also understood the power of distance. He noted that absence diminishes mediocre passions and increases great ones. In the economy of the human psyche, value is determined by scarcity. If a resource is infinite, it is worthless. If you are always available to be the punching bag, they will never stop punching. If you are always there to answer the phone, to provide the supply, or to fix their messes, you have no value. You are a utility like running water or electricity. You are only noticed when you are gone. To regain your power, you must disrupt their pattern of consumption. In psychology, we call this negative reinforcement. In Machiavellian strategy, we call it withdrawing the patrimony. You must create a vacuum where your presence used to be. This is not just about no contact. Sometimes, total silence is not possible due to children, work, or legalities. In those cases, you must practice emotional absence. Stop answering texts the moment they arrive. Let the phone ring until it goes to voicemail. Stop attending every social gathering out of a sense of obligation. When you do speak, be brief, be professional, be cold. When you withdraw your energy, you disrupt the manipulator's reality. They are used to you being a fixed planet in their solar system. When that planet moves out of orbit, they experience a profound sense of disorientation. They will demand, "Where have you been?" They will accuse, "Why are you ignoring me?" Your response must be a masterpiece of ambiguity. "I have simply been very busy with my own priorities." Do not explain what those priorities are. Do not apologize for having them. You are training them to understand that access to you is a privilege, not a birthright. And when they abuse that privilege, the access is revoked. Imagine you are a walled city. For years, the gates have been wide open. The toxic person has walked in, muddied your carpets, stolen your silver, and left you to clean the mess. And you have stood there, weeping, asking why they keep doing it. Machiavelli would tell you to pull up the drawbridge. They will scream from the other side of the moat. They will throw stones. They will tell the village that you are a cruel and heartless tyrant for locking them out. Let them scream. Let them tell their lies. The stones cannot hit you if the walls are high enough. Machiavelli knew that to rule, one must first be independent. If you depend on their approval, you are a servant. If you depend on their financial support or social standing, you are a subject. To defeat a manipulator, you must build your own kingdom. Develop interests they know nothing about. Build a social circle they cannot penetrate. Create a financial cushion they cannot touch. The less you need them, the more dangerous you become to their control. There is a psychological state known as enmeshment. This is where your emotions are so tangled with theirs that you cannot tell where you end and they begin. The weapon of absence is the blade that cuts those strings. When you finally stop caring about their opinion, their power evaporates. It is like waking up from a long, feverish nightmare. The monster was only terrifying because you were still asleep. When you are fully awake, you realize it was just a shadow on the wall. By why? Drawing your presence, you force them to face their own emptiness. A narcissist without a victim is like a fire without oxygen. They will eventually flicker and die out. They will go searching for a new forest to burn. Let them. Your job is not to extinguish the fire. Your job is to move your home so far away that the smoke no longer reaches your lungs. Machiavelli said, "A prince must rely on his own arms, not the arms of others." Your arms are your independence, your silence, and your scarcity. Become a ghost in their machine, become a riddle they cannot solve, and most importantly, become a person they can no longer reach. There are moments when defense is no longer sufficient. There are times when the predator corners you, when they threaten your livelihood, when they attack your reputation or your family. In these moments, you cannot remain a ghost. You must become the lion. Machiavelli wrote a line that is often quoted but rarely understood in its full, brutal depth. Men ought either to be well treated or crushed, because they can avenge themselves of lighter injuries, of more serious ones they cannot. This is the most dangerous lesson in this manual, and it is the most necessary. Most people deal with toxic behavior in half measures. You snap back a little. You make a passive-aggressive comment. You complain to human resources but then downplay the incident. In the eyes of a Machiavellian strategist, this is a catastrophic error. When you inflict a light injury on a manipulator, you do not stop them. You motivate them. You trigger their narcissistic rage. You give them a reason to obsess over you. They will go home, stew in their resentment, and return with a more complex plan to destroy you. If you are going to strike, you must not strike to hurt. You must strike to neutralize. In the modern world, we do not use physical force. We use the one weapon a manipulator cannot survive: the truth, dragged into the light. Toxic people operate in the shadows of social politeness. They rely on the fact that you are too civilized to make a scene. They rely on the implied insult that only you can hear. Your move is to destroy their cover. We call this technique the spotlight. When they make a snide, cutting remark disguised as a joke in front of an audience, do not laugh. Do not get angry. Stop the conversation entirely. Look at them with the clinical curiosity of a scientist. Ask one simple question: can you explain exactly what you meant by that? Then, be silent. The silence will be agonizing. They will try to squirm out of it. "Oh, it was just a joke. You're so sensitive." Do not let them go. Keep the spotlight on. "I understand it was a joke, but I don't get the punchline." Explain why that is funny to everyone here. Now the room is quiet. The tension is high. They are the ones sweating. They have to either admit they were being cruel or say something so stupid that they look incompetent. You have stripped away their camouflage. You have exposed the predator to the pack. This is a crushing blow because it destroys their social mask. A narcissist would rather be punched in the face than be publicly humiliated. Once you show them that you are willing to make things awkward to protect your boundaries, they will recoil. They will label you as difficult. Good. Difficult means you are hard to digest. In the wild, predators avoid prey that fights back with thorns. The second surgical strike is the documentation bomb. Never argue with a manipulator verbally. They are better liars than you. They will twist your words until you are apologizing for being attacked. Switch to paper. In psychology, this is known as verifying reality. Every converser, Tian, gets a follow-up email. Per our discussion, you stated X, Y, and Z. Please confirm this is accurate. They will hate this. They will try to call you on the phone to avoid the paper trail. Do not pick up. I'm in the middle of a task. Send it in writing. When you present a stack of undeniable facts, you are not arguing. You are executing a checkmate. Machiavelli advised the prince to rely on his own arms, not the arms of others. Your arms are your records, your facts, your undeniable reality. Never threaten them. Never say, I'm going to report you. Empty threats signal that you are still seeking their permission. Just act, file the report, send the evidence, make the statement. The blow must come out of nowhere, and it must be final. When they realize you are no longer playing a game of emotions, but a game of consequences, they will retreat. They will move on to someone who is still playing by the rules of decency. You are now a high-consequence target. You have shown them that every time they try to bite you, they will lose a tooth. This is not about being mean. It is about being a sovereign who protects their territory. In the final section, we will discuss the ultimate victory, the ascension. We will learn how to turn their smear campaign into your greatest fortress, and we will find the peace that exists on the other side of the war. The final move in the manipulator's playbook is the smear campaign. If they cannot control you, they will attempt to control how the world sees you. They will whisper in corners. They will paint you as the villain, the unstable one, or the abuser. This is their scorched earth policy. Machiavelli addressed this fear of public perception with cold precision. He wrote, "The best fortress a prince can have is not being hated by the people," but he also knew that a prince must not be paralyzed by the opinions of the fickle. To counter a smear campaign, you do not use defense. In psychology, the more you try to disprove a lie, the more you accidentally validate it. It is called the continued influence effect. If you run around shouting, "I am not crazy," you look exactly like what the manipulator wants people to see. Instead, you build a reputation fortress. You counter their lies with the sheer undeniable weight of your consistency. Be so professional, so calm, and so reliable with everyone else that the manipulator's story sounds like a delusion. If they tell the office you are a loose cannon, but every person who works with you experiences a steady hand, the liar becomes the one under suspicion. Machiavelli noted that the vulgar are always taken by appearances and by the results of an event. Let your results speak. Do not badmouth the manipulator back to others. If someone brings you a piece of their gossip, use the high road pivot. It is a shame they feel that way. I actually hope they find whatever it is they are looking for. This response is a psychological masterstroke. It paints you as the person of high character and the manipulator as the person of drama. You are using contrast effect. Darkness is only visible when it is held up against the light. Be the light, not because you are a saint, but because it is the most lethal way to expose their shadow. Machiavelli knew that perception is reality. If you control your behavior, you eventually control the public narrative. Let the toxic person dig their own grave with their own mouth. They are addicted to chaos, and eventually they will create a scene that they cannot explain away. You simply need to be standing far enough away so that you aren't hit by the debris when they implode. There comes a point where the only winning move is to transcend the game, entirely. Machiavelli wrote about war, but he also wrote about the conservation of resources. There is no glory in a battle that yields no profit. If a person drains your soul, you cannot fix them with strategy. You cannot strategize a tumor into a healthy organ. You must cut it out. The Machiavellian exit is total. It is silent. It is final. You do not announce your departure. You do not write a long, emotional letter explaining your feelings. They do not care about your feelings. They only care about their lost supply. You simply cease to exist in their frequency. Block the number. Route the emails to a folder you never open. Close the gates of your fortress and never look back. By disappearing without a word, you rob them of closure. Toxic people are haunted by the silence of a victim they can no longer reach. And while they are haunted, you are building. The ultimate revenge is not an attack. Revenge proves you are still thinking about them. The ultimate victory is apathy. It is the moment you realize you haven't thought about them in a month. Success, health, and a life full of genuine peace are the only trophies that matter. Machiavelli said, "It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles." It was not the relationship that gave you value. It was you that gave the relationship value. Take that value back. You have walked through the darkness and come out the other side. You have picked up the weapons of silence, ambiguity, and strategic presence. You are no longer a leaf in the wind of other people's neuroses. You are the wind. You are the architect of your own reality. A harmless person is not good. A harmless person is just helpless, but a formidable person who chooses to be kind, that is true virtue. That is the sovereign. That is the prince. This is surrealism, where the illusions die so that you can finally live. Keep your eyes open, keep your counsel private, and keep your fortress strong.